StraighTAllDay.com.
Why powerful men should never engage in masturbation. We are picking up on part 3 of our what will be a 4-part series. If you haven't heard the first 2 parts, y'all can check that in the previous 2 episodes of this show. Picking up right now on point number 7. Why powerful men should never masturbate. Number 7, it disconnects you from any connection that you may have had or could possibly create with an actual woman. I mean, novel idea. Understand that masturbation that is based in pornography, it fragments your perception of real-time intimacy, or real intimacy rather, and it warps your standards of what feminine energy is like. Understand, I think most of you do understand this, even if you are not a consumer, that pornography is acting, and you understand that what happens on a screen in acting, whether on a phone, laptop, movie theater screen, you understand that's acting. That's not how it really goes. And usually in a movie or a TV show or a porn film, things progress a lot faster than they would in actual real life. So it warps your expectations of how things actually go and how people actually behave with each other, even when there is some level of attraction. All right, so porn will have you thinking things go one way when they actually go a little bit differently than that. So your image of sex and what women are like in some type of intimate engagement with a man will have you thinking is going to go, again, one way when it goes another way, and then you're not sure what the hell is going on. You have the wrong expectations. You are making the wrong moves, saying the wrong things, and end up fumbling the ball anyway, because porn has warped your mind to think, again, to come to expect something that's not based in reality. The outcome is that, again, you are in the real world completely uncalibrated. That's what happens when you go into the real world. You haven't done something for a while. Your calibration is off. For example, I haven't played basketball in 10 years, and I still have the skills. The baseline skills are still hardwired in me, like dribbling and making layups and making a shot and the pick and roll and defensive rotations, et cetera, et cetera. But if I got on the basketball court right now today with a bunch of people who are actively playing basketball and people who can actually play, I would be 2 or 3 steps behind them, not just because of whatever level of physical erosion I may have undertaken, but also because as far as my instincts go, I'm uncalibrated. I'm not calibrated to play because I haven't played in a minute. Now, if I start playing again every single day, I may not be able to run as fast or jump as high or explode the same way I did when I was, let's say, 25. However, I could know where I need to be and be in the right place in a lot more calibrated way if I played basketball for 6 weeks and started practicing and playing and training for 6 weeks than I would be if I start doing it today with the same level of physical ability. Why? Because my calibration catches up. I remember when I was playing, I spent a week playing pickup basketball during the NBA's lockout in 2011 with a bunch of active NBA players. And one of the things that I noticed in that week playing with those guys was not so much that they were, yes, they're big, fast, and strong, but my athleticism was one of my key pieces, especially in the first half of my playing career. So athletically, I could keep up with a good number of them. There's a couple of them that maybe had some crazy athleticism, but I was not overmatched physically playing with those guys. The biggest difference between me and them is that their instincts were sharper. They knew where the ball was going to be a half second before I knew where the ball was going to be. Some of them would jump up and reach for a rebound just a split second before I jumped and reached for the rebound. Even though I could jump higher than them or was maybe faster than them, they would still make plays before I made the play, simply because they saw it before I saw it. And the reason they saw it before I saw it, because they were playing against the highest level players in the world every single day. And I was playing against high level guys, but not quite as high as them. And that small difference is what really makes the difference. That small amount of calibration makes a big difference based on the environment that you're in. So if you're in an environment of watching pornography and masturbating, and your experience of sex is just whatever you come up with in your mind, or pictures that get painted in your mind based on what you look at on a screen versus what happens in real life, again, your calibration is off and you're going to feel unnatural when you're dealing with an actual human being. You're expecting things to be the way you saw them, again, when you were watching something, but real life doesn't quite match up for the most part. It's similar to eating a bag of candy, let's say, with all that processed sugar, those chemicals that are made in science labs that are designed to make you addicted to the candy, and then you go eat a piece of fruit. Any of you has ever done this before? I have done it before, so I'll tell you from firsthand experience. After you eat a bag of Skittles, for example, after you consume that bag of Skittles and then you go eat an apple or an orange or a banana, you can barely taste the piece of fruit. The reason you can't taste it is not because anything happened to the fruit, is because the sugar inside the bag of Skittles or the Snickers bar or the Sour Patch Kids, that sugar is so potent and it is so chemically altered to make you feel the power of the sugar that natural sugar coming from a piece of fruit doesn't feel like anything. You can barely feel it. That's the exact same thing that happens when you're consistently consuming pornographic material and then you go out into the real world. It's not happening as fast, is not as, what's the word that I would say here? It's not as catered to your taste, let's say, or catered to whatever calibration you've been conditioned to as what you've come to expect. That processed sugar, metaphorically speaking, is a lot more potent than the natural sugar. So it loses its effect, even though there's nothing wrong with the natural sugar. You have just had your senses warped by taking in the wrong stuff. That's the problem with taking in pornography, amongst the many other things we're talking about in this series. And when you're dealing with women in real life, as opposed to your constant masturbation, it's like eating too much candy and you forget what real food tastes like. Moving on to point number 8. Today's topic, once again, is why powerful men should never masturbate. Number 8, you are teaching yourself to quit. Now, some of you are wondering, wait a minute, what do you mean? How is masturbation teaching yourself to quit? Well, it's exactly what we've been talking about so far in this series. Masturbation is giving in, first of all, to your physical urges of your need to release, but instead of doing the work to manufacture that opportunity to release with an actual human being where some actual energy can be exchanged, that's between you and a female, instead you give into the urge and you find a way to release without having to deal with a female, which means you're cheating, you're short-circuiting it. On top of all the other things we talked about energy releasing and lowering your tension and lowering your power and all those other things, you are quitting in this instant and cheating yourself, cheating the game. And it reinforces the habit of you seeking an easy way out of a situation instead of holding the line with discipline. It's kind of like you're telling yourself, I'm going to get off of eating candy, but instead of not eating the candy, instead you go to the store and you buy some candy instead of just eating a banana or an apple or a plum when you have an urge for some sugar. Yes, the apple, banana, or plum is not as strong a hit of sugar as the bag of Skittles was, but if you hold the line of discipline and just eat the banana, eventually your body will recalibrate itself to a banana being a high enough level of sugar to where you're satisfied. But there is going to be a time period in which that banana is not as strong as what your body is used to, and your body is going to push back and protest and say, this is not enough sugar, more. If you can hold the discipline for long enough, this is that period that we call the third day, when your body is pushing back. Eventually your body will relax and realize, okay, I guess this is the baseline that we're at now, and it adjusts. The human body is a great adjustment machine. The greatest thing the human animal can do is make adjustments, and humans make adjustments better than any other animal on the planet. This is one of the reasons why we dominate the living world, even though we're not the biggest, the fastest, nor the strongest. Masturbation is about, again, giving into an urge and reinforcing the habit of seeking an easy way out. So every time you do it, you're quitting and letting the urge win instead of commanding the urge to be quiet and you controlling it. You're allowing it to control you. That is a lack of discipline that you're communicating every single time you give into masturbation. And when you don't masturbate, even though there is sexual tension within you, that is a mental challenge for you. And it's a discipline to win that mental challenge that you want to release. There is no opportunity because there's no girl around for you. And you hold that tension within you, transmute that tension into creating and producing and achieving and doing things that make you a higher value man. I did an entire series on how to be a high value man. That was episode number 3311, 3312. Understand something, man. When you do things that make you a more high value man, the women will come and find you. All right, they will be magnetized towards you, or you'll become a magnet for them, because high value men attract women naturally. You don't even have to try. They will notice you. They will see you. They will find you. You'll be out doing your high value man stuff, and you will come across women without ever going out to find women. You don't have to do that. You won't have to go to the bar or the club to look for women. They will come find you. You can be at the grocery store. You can be at the gym. All right. You can be at the gas station. All right. They will notice you because your energy is telling them that you're the type of person that they want to be around. So you won't have to go look for them. You won't have to do that anymore. You won't have to scroll social media anymore. They will come find you because you're doing high value stuff. This is what we call going over the top of the problem. Every man who's listening to this, who's heterosexual, especially if you're single, you are on some level looking for sexual satisfaction. You have biological needs. I understand this. I'm not telling you not to have them. All right, I want to be very clear. What I'm telling you is, instead of you going and focusing on that and focusing on, let's say, getting attention from other men, or focusing on you getting noticed by people who recognize those who are out achieving things, if you just go out and achieve things and be the highest value person you can be, again, episode 3311, where I talked about being a high value man, if you go and do those things, all those other things that come with it naturally come with it, and you won't have to try. Just go focus on being a high value man, and the women you want, the sex you want to have, the attention that you want, the friends that you want, the respect that you want, the self-satisfaction that you want, all of those things come with it as a package deal. You go handle the one thing, all the other things come with it. This is what we call the big domino. The big domino is a concept from marketing that is all about you understanding that when you take care of one big important thing, there's a whole bunch of smaller things that naturally happen just because the one big thing got taken care of. I talked about the big domino in episode number 2730. You knock down one big domino, everything else is taken care of. When you're selling a product or a service to a person, usually they're looking for one or two main attributes. And if you can satisfy those one or two main attributes, you don't have to tell them about the other 33 features of the product. Why? Because the one or two things is the big domino for them. And each person has a different big domino. So every man out there, if you want to get more pussy, then what you need to do is become a high value man. You knock down that big domino, then everything else, including getting more pussy, comes with it as a byproduct, a natural byproduct that you don't even have to chase. Does everybody understand this? So this tension that lives within you when you have not released, but you want to, all right, that's the mental challenge. That gives you energy, and that energy lets you do everything else that you want to do, not just having sex, not everything else, like the stuff that makes you a high value individual. Because if there's a week that goes by before you get a chance to release with an actual woman, during that week, you're going to have a ton more energy that you haven't released, right? You're used to releasing every week, but you didn't release. You went a week, you didn't release. So there's a lot more energy in you, right? That you didn't let out. As long as you hold it in, that energy can be transmuted for you doing anything else. Maybe you'll have a better week at the office. You'll have a better week finishing putting together your course. Maybe you'll finally launch your podcast. Maybe you'll finish writing your book. Maybe you'll do better at the gym and hit a couple of your personal bests. This is what happens when you hold in energy. The energy has to go somewhere. Remember, energy is neither created nor destroyed. Merely changes forms and it moves from one object to another. Powerful men do not give in to urges and temptations. They control urges and temptations. Not that they don't have them. They just learn to control them. You need to become one of those men. Point number 9. Today's topic, once again, is why powerful men should not masturbate. Are we on powerful? Yes, point number 9. Why powerful men should not masturbate. Number 9. It reverses the dominance polarity. When you masturbate frequently, you move from being the assertive aggressor, the person who is going towards things and having an impact on things. You instead become a passive consumer when it comes to women and sex. If you start masturbating, you're being passive. Masturbation is a passive way of attaining sexual release. Why? Because you don't have to really do anything active. You don't have to achieve anything. You don't have to set any bars. You don't have to do anything that rhymes with or is cousins or is relative of success in order to achieve release if all you're doing is masturbating. Because porn is being produced at a faster rate than you can even consume it, and damn sure at a faster rate than your testicles can produce more sperm for you to masturbate with. So there's always more porn. So you can just passively consume. Understand that successful men, powerful men, high value men, you know what we do? In order to get a reward, we have to achieve something first. You achieve something, then you get a reward. You achieve reward. But there is no achievement, there is no reward. That's a discipline. This is especially true when you have the resources to give yourself as many rewards as you want, but you discipline yourself and say, I'm not going to partake in that reward, until I achieve this achievement. I can't partake in that reward until I achieve this achievement, even though I have the resources right now to give myself that reward. So if your reward is sexual release, the resource to achieve that award of sexual release is available to you 24 hours a day. Right now, as I'm recording, I have 4 screens in front of me. I have a phone, a tablet, and a computer. And on any one of these, within about 3 minutes, depending on what website I Google and look up, I can find some porn. All right, within 3 minutes, for free, easily available. So the resource is at my fingertips, literally at all times. Do I have the resources? Yes. All I need is a data plan or a Wi-Fi connection. All of you have that because you're listening to me right now. So the reward is always available and the resource is always available. But you can't keep partaking in it just because it's there. This is the problem. This is the problem right here, is that the reward that feels good in the moment but doesn't help you in the long term, such as junk food, such as porn, such as scrolling social media, all of these things are always available to you at all times. They don't help you in the long run, but they feel good in the short term. Powerful men, we discipline ourselves to not partake in it even though it's available. How many times have I told you all, turn off the notifications on all your social media apps? Only notifications on my phone are WhatsApp, phone calls and voice messages, and text messages. That's it. Those are only notifications I get on my phone. I'm looking at my phone right now. I got WhatsApp. I got 6 notifications. That's usually where I'm talking to people. It's either people who I know personally or do business with, and coaching clients. Then there's the calls. If somebody called me or left a voicemail. And then there's text messages. And not too many people have access to send me a personal text. That's it. Those are only notifications I get. So if I get an email, there's no notification. Somebody likes my photo on Instagram, there's no notification. Somebody left a comment on YouTube, there's no notification. Why? Because I get to it when I get to it. That's the discipline. And the dominance polarity is you control your access to the rewards, even though you could get them whenever you want. That's the dominance polarity. You are dominating your own urges. That's what you're dominating. And when you control this urge to masturbate and completely eliminate this urge, you become an assertive aggressor. Why? Because if you're going to release ever again, you got to do it with a girl, which means you got to go out and actually talk to females. And you have to earn your way in, literally. By whatever means you need to earn your way in. Different women, there's different combinations. There's different numbers you got to hit on the combination lot. You get what I'm saying? But you don't want to be a passive consumer when it comes to women and sex, i.e. watching the game from the sideline or watching it through your phone. All right, women can feel that energy coming off of you whether you're passive or assertive. And the higher the level of femininity of the woman, the more assertive the man needs to be. Just think about this in your own experience. It hurts you in the sexual marketplace when your energy is low with a woman, for you men. If you train yourself to consume sex passively, and this can be something as simple as the soft porn that many of you men are guilty of consuming by scrolling Instagram. And yes, I'm talking about you. All right. When you train yourself to consume sex passively, you are no longer someone who penetrates into the world, so to speak. I'll tell you this right now. By the time you all hear this, I will assert right now that it's still going to be true. If you go to my Instagram account, my Instagram name is @DreBaldwin, and you go to my profile, you see the pinned posts. There are 3 pinned posts at the top of my page. And the first one that you see is one with me standing on the balcony. This is in Miami. And I'm wearing a black suit, black shirt, and a black tie, and I'm looking at my phone. And the headline is, "Men, online ass is your new slavery." And there's a post there where I'm explaining how men need to stop being slaves to looking at ass on the internet. So this is not some brand new concept that I came up with. I put this post out. I'm looking on it. This came out in January of 2024. That very post that I just referred to. And I'm saying that to let you know that this is a concept I've been talking about for a while here. And I was talking about it long before I made that post on Instagram. Instagram is soft porn, or whatever app you're looking at it on. It's just pictures of girls, and maybe you're not masturbating to them, but you're scrolling and looking. All right, you are still partaking. All right, that's soft pornography. That's what it is. Social media has allowed soft pornography to be a thing. We've come to accept this. Doesn't mean you have to partake. We accept that it's there. Doesn't mean you have to partake. I go to the gas station to get some gas. You go inside the little mini mart next to the gas station. There's a wall full of cigarettes for sale. I know that they're there, but I don't smoke cigarettes. Just because they're there does not mean you need to engage. You become invisible when your energy is low, man. You are invisible when your energy is low. If a woman's energy is low, she is still visible. Why? Because there is some man out in the world who wants to have sex with any woman who's out there. If she's heterosexual, there is some man out there who wants to have sexual engagement with this woman. So she is visible just because she's a female, just because she has a vagina. As a man, if you have no energy, even if that woman's low energy, she's still going to be noticed. As a man, if you have no energy, you're not going to be noticed at all. Because that woman who might be your parallel, let's say the attractionness level or the sexual marketplace value level, she is going to have multiple suitors even if you don't notice her. You will have no suitors if your energy is low. 0, nothing. This is where involuntary celibacy comes from. Invisible men who have no value and aren't doing anything to build their value. No woman ever needs to be interested in you if she doesn't want to be. You're just there. Maybe. You become invisible even to women who are not that attractive, who otherwise might have been attracted to your energy if you looked the part. But if your energy is not there, they're not paying attention. They didn't even see you. So understand, when I say unattractive or invisible, it doesn't mean that you need to have big muscles or that you need to wear fancy clothes or that you need to have a cute face or a nice haircut. That's not what I mean when I say attractive and visible. It means that you have to keep in mind that people read your energy more than they are consciously reading what they see with their eyes. They're going off of feel first, and how you look is just an add-on to that. And or how you look can be rendered irrelevant if the energy is right. Same thing that you do with other people. So when you are passively consuming all of your sexual experience, other people can unconsciously feel that you are more inward, i.e. self-conscious, instead of projecting outward, i.e. confident. So there is something unspoken about you that turns other people off. That energetic sexual tension is not there, and that energetic sexual tension is what leads to sexual intercourse. If there's no energetic sexual tension, there will be no intercourse. So how can you create energetic sexual tension if you have no energy in you and you have no tension in you because you've been letting it out through masturbation every day? Everybody following what I'm saying here? And again, you could be the prettiest guy in the room with no energy. Nothing's happening. You're going home by yourself. All that said, let's recap today's class, which is part 3 of our ongoing series, Why Powerful Man Should Never Masturbate. Number 7, it disconnects you from real women. Again, porn-based masturbation fragments your perception of real intimacy and warps your standards of what feminine energy actually looks and feels like, the same way that eating candy warps your standard of what sugar tastes like. Number 8, you're teaching yourself to quit. Masturbation is giving in to an urge, which reinforces the habit of seeking easy ways out instead of holding the line with discipline. Discipline is an energy that creates power. It creates tension, and that tension is the type of energy that you need to hold in you to be powerful and to be attractive to other people. Number 9, it reverses the dominance polarity. When you masturbate, you are moving from being an assertive aggressor to a passive consumer when it comes to women and sex. You want to be assertive and aggressive when it comes to that. And aggressive is a controlled aggression when it comes to sex. And when you have that type of energy, then women are attracted to you. You don't have that energy, women don't even notice you, let alone are they attracted. All that said, tomorrow we're going to get into part 4 of this series. Between now and then, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com, get into our Power Presence Protocol where you can learn how to channel this type of energy, not only for sex, but also for your career, for your business, for your personal life, for your engagement with other men, and just your standing in society, let alone your standing professionally. That's all at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.